Don't be fooled.
Oh, Jaron!
Support your Grizzlies by voting for them to the 2026 All-Star Game.
Oh, Edie with the big swat. On the deck, floats it up, off the glass and in! Cedric Power, yes sir!
Vote now by going to grizzlies.com/all-star.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans. Want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Memphis. Monday Night Raw returns with non-stop action, unmatched energy, and the superstars you love.
We don't get mad, we get even. We don't go home till we beat them. This is our time, we ain't leaving. Give me the crown undefeated.
Witness the moments you'll never forget. Monday Night Raw, Memphis. Monday, February 16th. Tickets and ringsider packages on sale next Friday.
Own the 2025-26 Grizzlies season with the 10-game Flex Pack, the ultimate way to catch all the action on your terms. Choose your favorite matchups from intense rivalries to weekend thrillers and customize your pack to fit your schedule. With 10 games to pick, you'll never miss the moments that matter most. Visit grizzlies.com/packs today to build your perfect ticket pack and cheer on the Grizzlies your way. It's your team, your season, and your schedule. So don't miss out.
Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
My name is Gary Parrish. I'm speaking to you from Midtown Manhattan, New York City. Ben Doyle back in Memphis inside the Built Ford Tough studio, producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. And I hope you didn't think the Grizzlies would catapult off that victory over the Spurs and completed with a victory over the Suns, because things did not go so well last night. They went bad early. They trailed after one, trailed after two, trailed after three, trailed after four. That's a loss. There's no way around it. We'll talk about it momentarily. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. In the next segment, about 20 minutes, Michael Wallace is going to join me. He, of course, senior editor, Grind City Media. Michael Wallace will join me. We'll talk about the Grizzlies and all things connected to last night's game. He'll be here in the next segment. Finish talking to Michael Wallace. Going to take a break, come back. Do 5 more things you need to know, which one we'll discuss 5 previously. Undiscussed stories among them. The first of 2 college football playoff semifinals will be held tonight. Ole Miss against Miami. Can't wait for this. We'll get you ready for it in about 40 minutes. Charles Huff's Memphis Tigers have secured next season's quarterback. His name is Marcus Stokes. He was a finalist for what amounts to the Division II Heisman at West Florida this past season, where he totaled 40 touchdowns and 3,664 yards. Hopefully he's the next Trinidad Chambliss. That's what I'm hoping for. I'll tell you more about him a little later on in the show. Big-time college basketball game last night in Nashville. Turns out Vanderbilt's, they're really awesome. Beat Alabama 96-90. I moved them into the top 5 of the top 25 and 1. I'll tell you exactly where. We'll do that in just a bit. Arkansas won at Ole Miss last night. Coach Cal's got a legitimate Final Four contender. We'll spend a few minutes on that in the third segment. And Roku CEO, a fellow named Anthony Wood, he sat down with Variety yesterday and made a big prediction about the impact that AI is going to have on Hollywood. I'm going to tell you what he said. I'm going to get Ben's thoughts on it. We're going to do that during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. Then we'll eventually do GP's Carryout. We'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to, but I did want to start with your Memphis Grizzlies because game 37 of a scheduled 82, it was played last night in downtown Memphis. No John Morant, no Cedric Howard, no Zach Edey. This time it was a problem. I know yesterday I told you it wasn't a problem, but this, fast forward 24 hours, it was a problem. Final score, Suns 117, Grizzlies 98. The Grizz trailed by 7 after one quarter, by 18 at the half, by 23 after 3. You get the point. Dillon Brooks took 22 shots because why not? I mean, he's in FedEx Forum. Might as well take 22 shots. He was back inside his old home arena. 22 shots. He made 8 of them. Finished with 21 points in 25 minutes. The Suns are now 22-15. The Grizzlies are 16-21. Big Bet Bennett, there wasn't much drama connected to last night's game. It was never really competitive. What'd you make of what you saw?
Yeah, Vernon was back next to me last night, and after the first quarter, I take no satisfaction, but he was poking a little fun at me yesterday. I turned to him immediately and said, "This one's over," and it was. And they were even more shorthanded last night than they were the night before because Vince didn't play because he's second night of a back-to-back coming off an injury, so they set him last night. Yeah, I mean, they did not have the legs. They were a step. Tomas Islo said in the postgame they were 2 steps behind the whole game. It was just completely evident from the jump that they just did not have it last night. And Phoenix had a couple days off. They were coming off that buzzer beater win by Houston over them when Kevin Durant hit the buzzer beater. And so, yeah, it was a bad combo last night for our Grizz.
It's a bad combo and a bad combo of results as well because, as you know, it's not just a loss in the standings in this season. Like, in some ways, the Grizzlies are connected to that Phoenix pick in the 2026 NBA draft. So every Grizzlies win is good. Every Phoenix win is bad. And last night you got the bad with the Phoenix win and the bad with the Grizzlies loss. So it's like a double bad thing.
And I think we can just, as a fan base, forget about that being some great pick. They are going to at least be a play-in team and potentially, I mean, they could get in that top 6. Maybe. We'll see. They're only 1.5 back of the 6 seed. And I just think, man, watching them, because we saw them earlier in the season, Ja hits the game winner. And it was early, so it's hard to kind of gauge. And so I hadn't really seen him play a ton since then. But, man, it's just true. Like, Dillon, he elevates that thing. He just does. Like, they play hard defensively. They've got some nice pieces like that Mark Williams signing. He was good. Obviously, they've got Devin Booker there. They'll get my guy back. Why can't I think of his name? Oh my God, Jalen Green. They'll get him back at some point. So I think they're going to be good in the West this season. I don't know if they'll be a playoff team, but they're going to be in the mix.
You're right about all of that stuff. But the one I want to drill down on is that he makes that thing better than it otherwise would be.
Yes,
and this
roster is not amazing. They're not deep. It's just they got guys that play hard in that starting lineup.
He does raise the thing in the regular season. He's not without his warts, and I'm never interested in relitigating where we were with him when we decided to divorce from him. We as the franchise, but you could reasonably, while you acknowledge that the Cedric Howard pick is a big hit and the Zach Edey pick is a big hit, and a lot of these things are big hits. Dillon Brooks said last night in the postgame when asked about his time in Memphis, he was kind of cool about it. Like, he wasn't being a jerk. He was kind of like, I love Memphis. I love my old teammates. It's good to see them. But he did sort of say, like, I feel like maybe they just they panicked. They're too quick. They got caught up in the moment and pulled the trigger on something that maybe they shouldn't have pulled the trigger on. And I would have totally disagreed with him on the day that it happened. And let me be clear, that means I would have done exactly what this organization did. I would have done exactly what Zach Kleiman did. I would have said, we are no longer in the Dillon Brooks business. This ain't for us anymore. So if you're critical of him, you would have been critical of me. That's what I would have done. But when you look at it, the Grizzlies have never been as good since he left as they were when he was here. And every franchise he's been involved with since he left here has been better because of him. I don't think anybody could dispute that. That's a fact, isn't it?
It is a fact, yes. It has not been the same since he left, at least as far as wins and losses go. And, yes, everywhere he's been since, he has elevated the thing, yes.
You need people on your roster in a league with a regular season that everybody tells you shouldn't care about. Everybody tells you isn't that important. Everybody tells you it's secondary. You need people on your roster who contradict that with their approach. And Dillon Brooks is that guy. He might be the guy in the NBA who does that at this point. He hasn't always had that reputation. His reputation at one point was the guy on the Grizzlies who thinks he's better than he is and keeps talking crazy to LeBron James. That was his label. That's why he was moved out of here or told not to come back. But since then, he is, all that stuff's still true, but he has established himself as somebody who raises a floor on your team, raises a floor on a Wednesday night game in Middle America. And last night was another example of that. He wasn't the most efficient basketball player in the world. He never will be. But this Phoenix team is good. Like, they're good, and they're not supposed to be. But they're good. And I'm not saying he's the most important part of it, but he's a big part of it. He's among the reasons that they're good.
I think, too, to give him credit, he's gotten better since he left the Grizzlies. Like, his game has gotten better. He's
as it should have.
Yeah, he's still, he took a lot of shots last night, too. I haven't looked at, the numbers, by game basis this season, but I'm pretty sure he's a little more efficient than he was when he was playing here. And so, to his credit, he's gotten better since he left as a player.
He got the post-game interview on the court with the Phoenix Suns local Jessica Benson, Rob Fisher. So let's, Kyra, if you got it queued up, let's see what Dillon Brooks had to say about playing against his old teammates in his old building one more time.
Dillon, it was a homecoming for you tonight. I saw you catching up with some of your old teammates. What did you say to them?
I miss them. And, talking about basketball stuff, talking about personal life. Jaren called me ugly, but he's uglier than me. It's great playing against my old teammates, especially when they're over there. And it's always great coming back to Memphis.
I like that Dillon Brooks. Is it weird that I like that Dillon Brooks more than I like the Dillon Brooks that actually played here?
Well, I loved the Dillon. You know me. I loved the Dillon Brooks that played here. Yeah, hey, I did not know. Yeah, I ain't having no revisionist history. I did not want to move on from Dillon.
Bennett, let me give you credit because you deserve some. All right. We always talk about being on the right side of history, and this is probably a good time in our country to talk about that. I'm not going to.
Let's save that for a different day.
We'll save that for a different day. I'm tired. If you can't tell from my eyes, I'm sleepy. So
I'm not prepared for that discussion.
I don't think, they can have that discussion in other places. I don't think we need to do that today on Grind City Media. But often you hear about, you want to be on the right side of history. Are you going to be on the right side of history? And I assume that's a conversation happening throughout our country right now. Like, man, how you want people to think about where you were in this moment? What do you think was right and what do you think was wrong? We have that conversation another day. But to this point, you were on the right side of history. Not so much about the Capitol storming, but definitely about Dillon Brooks.
Fair. Thank you. Thanks for the acknowledgement. Thank you.
You were on the right side of history about Dillon Brooks, it sounds like.
Yeah.
A lot of us now sit back and we watch that post-game interview and we're like, man, I don't mind Dillon Brooks so much. But then if you go back to the tape, if you circle back to the tape, we were like, F Dillon Brooks, get him out of here.
Yeah.
But that was not you, Bennett. That was not you while you were banging on the Capitol doors.
Now,
you were also defending Dillon Brooks.
Now, here's the thing. Also worth pointing out is ever since he left, we have been like the most injured team in the NBA. So, we've got a bit of an excuse.
I know, but he never misses a game. That would help,
right.
wouldn't it?
He never misses a game. That's true. He never misses a game. That's right.
Not only is he better than he ever was here, he's also just available. Yeah. We'll take that. I'll just take that.
Starter if it's available. Yeah, that sounds good.
If you would have told, when we were discussing and debating the Dillon Brooks thing, people are like, man, I'm just tired of it. He's poking bears and talking crazy. Get him out of here. If anybody would have ever stood up and been like, hey, all right, you're right about everything you said, but he is a starter, and like he'll probably be available a lot. Would that have made us second guess it? Would that have made us be like, okay?
In retrospect, yes, I believe so.
A starter who will be available a lot?
We'll
give him
take
40,
it.
Give him
Sounds
$40
good.
million.
Yes.
Give him $40 million. Who cares? He's a projected starter who will be available to play consistently.
Great.
Give him all of the money. Give him the Jaren contract. Well, whatever. So, Bennett, you were on the right side of history. Not about everything
Hey,
in this
Jaren
world.
does play a lot, though.
Jaren does play a lot.
Yeah.
Jaren does play a lot now.
Hey, and like real quick, talking about the game last night, he was good in the first quarter. Jaren had 11 points in the first quarter, and it kind of, it just fizzled out a little bit. But Elliott said on the broadcast that he wishes they would have exploited that matchup a little bit more, and I can't argue with that.
I would never argue with Elliott Perry. Are you
No.
kidding me? About anything.
About anything.
Like, seriously, what would you argue about Elliott Perry with?
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing. He's
He
the best
talks,
of us.
I listen. Yes.
He talks, I listen. That's when I shut up. If you ever want to know when I shut up, it's when I'm around Elliott Perry.
Yep.
He's the best of us. I wouldn't argue with him. So if that's what he said, I agree. Do you think Dillon Brooks is better looking than Jaren Jackson Jr.? That's what he said in that clip.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, like we spent the first, 16 minutes or so of this show complimenting Dillon Brooks, but I think this is where I draw a line. He's not better looking than Jaren Jackson Jr. He's just not. You would agree with that,
And
wouldn't you?
Jaren's taller.
And taller. Now, I don't side with the taller guy all the time, Bennett. I can't.
But I bet the females would.
I bet you I could tell you some stories where they didn't.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Go and toot your own horn then. Go off, GP.
I've been fighting this fight for a long time.
Yeah, I know
Bennett.
you have.
I've been out to fight for a little while. But I used to have to fight this fight.
Yeah.
You try to tell me I ain't never taken a taller man's woman?
I believe that you probably have. I believe that you probably have.
I definitely have. Now I've had a taller man take my woman too, so it cuts both ways.
Yeah.
But I'm in the fight. I was always in the fight. You would look at us and you'd be like, man, they can't be in the same fight. They in different weight classes. They don't deserve to be in the ring against each other. But I've taken down a taller man. I've taken down a taller man's woman before, Ben.
Nice.
Nice.
I don't think I ever have. Yeah, I think they're both probably doing okay in their own right. Yeah.
Sure, but just hey, you're on.
I'm not gonna pick.
I want you to pick.
I know you do. I know where you're just gonna keep talking about this until I know. No, I will not.
Okay, Bennett, you're on a dating app. All right. I don't want you.
Doing this, dude.
Don't want you on a dating app. You have a beautiful wife and a beautiful family. There is There is no reason. Do you ever see these videos? By the way, people post it and it's like, I just saw my wife on Tinder or my husband on Tinder. What is going on?
It's all fake because one of them went viral, and so now everyone's posting fake videos like that. That's one thing that I've learned about the internet recently is it doesn't matter what it is. If something goes viral, then everyone's gonna steal it and post like fake videos trying to copy it.
It's a real problem.
It's a real problem. Yes,
it's a real problem.
I see those every other post. Is someone that's like, I found my wife or my husband on Tinder and I'm divorcing them. Yeah, they're staged.
What do you remember when our problems were largely like Dillon Brooks shoots too much?
Yes.
And now our problems are like, I can't believe anything I see on the internet.
I know. I don't know what's real and what's not anymore. It is.
I don't know what's real and what's not.
It's concerning.
It's concerning. Like, I see a picture and I'm like, oh, wow. And then they're like, oh, no, that's not even a real thing. I saw Sharon Moore, the Michigan coach, former Michigan coach. You probably heard about that. And he was like strolling a baby out of a building with his wife. And I was like, well, okay, they're trying to work it out. Good for them. Or bad for whatever. I don't care. It's none of my business. But like, I root for people, and if they think that's the path forward, then I hope they get there. And I was like, man, okay, good for them, man. This must be a hellhole for them, everything they've gone through. But okay, if they're trying to get through it, hopefully they make it. And then as soon as I had all that stuff popping around my head, it was like, no, that's just AI. It's not even real. That's not a real video. He probably hasn't talked to his wife in a month. She hates him. He ruin their lives.
Dude, some account posted a trailer. Yeah, some big account posted a trailer yesterday. It's like the new Avengers Doomsday teaser, and I was like, "Holy crap, this looks awesome!" Just fake. It's fake. It's all AI. Yeah.
I don't know what I'm even looking at anymore. That's my problem today.
Yeah.
My problem used to be that Dillon Brooks shoots too much. That was like the only problem I had in this world.
Mm-hmm.
That's an exaggeration, obviously. But like among the problems I had in this world, if you was like, GP, what's your 10 biggest problems in this world? One of them would have been Dillon Brooks just keeps taking dumb shots. And that's so far down the list of things that I would care about today. I don't even know what I'm looking at on the internet. I don't even know what's real. Dillon Brooks could take 40 shots a game. It wouldn't even occur to me to be upset about that today. As much as I'm upset about it, I don't even know Sharon Moore's walking his baby out of a building. All right, Bennett, you're on a dating app.
Stop, man.
You're on a dating app. I don't want you to be on one. You got a beautiful family. You should not mess that up. Do everything you can to not mess that up. Got a beautiful family, beautiful boys, beautiful wife. Don't mess that up. But in the off chance that you do and you're on a dating app and your interests are where they are. You're scrolling. There's Dillon Brooks. You're scrolling. There's Jaren Jackson Jr. You can only whatever you do to make them know that you're interested in them. I've never been on a dating app. I was out the game. But whatever you do to make Jaren Jackson or Dillon Brooks know, hey man, I wouldn't mind direct messaging you. You got an opportunity to do that. Dillon Brooks last night on television said he's better looking than Jaren Jackson Jr. You are not taking into account personalities at all or basketball playing ability. This is just a visual thing. Who would you rather, if Houston still existed on Poplar, who would you rather go to Houston's with for dinner? Jaren Jackson Jr. or Dillon Brooks? If you were basing this only on, I'm sitting across from this person in a booth, and I got to look at him for the next 90 minutes. Who you sit next to? Who you ordering a drink with?
Probably Jaren because he's got more money.
We're doing this only on appearances. We're not talking about money.
I don't know, man.
Jeff Bezos is on some level the most attractive person in the world. But it's not because of the way he looks. It's because of his money. We're not talking about money. We're talking about Dillon Brooks said he's better looking than Jaren Jackson Jr. I'm trying to get you to weigh in on that.
I really just don't have an opinion either way. Okay.
I have an opinion, actually. I think that's wrong.
You go ahead. Let me hear your opinion.
Jaren Jackson Jr. is a better looking man than Dillon Brooks. I don't think that's debatable.
It's because he's taller.
Not only because he's taller, just because he's a better looking man. You're not disagreeing with that, are you?
I think they both do perfectly well for themselves.
It sounds like it.
Yeah, I'm sure they're both doing okay.
I bet they're both doing.
Yeah, I don't think either are ugly. Neither are ugly. I think Dillon was just wrong. They're saying he's uglier than me.
That is a wild thing to walk up and tell your old teammate. Just of all the things you could tell somebody when you haven't seen them in a while. Hey man, I'm better looking than you. You're ugly.
It did make me jealous watching them all yucking it up on the court last night after the game. Made me sad.
Well, in all seriousness, to get back to trying to be a little serious, like the last
I'll
good
always
vibes,
remember the next gen movement.
Well, like that was a real thing, and we'd watch those post-game interviews, and we'd watch them walk onto the court. We'd watch them in the tunnel, and it was like, man, they look like they're having fun, so I think I'm having fun too. And we have been absent of that for a little while, if we're telling the truth. And he was a big part of that. That's a real thing.
Yes, that is definitely a real thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, maybe we'll get back to it someday. Next up for the Grizzlies, third straight home game, Friday night. Opponent is going to be
bobblehead night.
It's bobblehead night. Reigning champs coming to town, Oklahoma City, which means the reigning MVP and the scoring champ and the finals MVP, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, is going to be in town. Tough task, obviously. OKC 31-7 now after last night's win over the Jazz. Best record in the NBA. Mm-hmm. But lately, and I think we sort of skipped over this, when they were on pace to break all of the regular season win records, we couldn't stop talking about that. They've fallen off a little bit. They're 31-7 now. Best record in the NBA. But just 7-6 in their past 13 games. So they have maybe just gotten bored.
No, and he's back to shooting his free throws again. He got 17 last night. So, I wonder if we might just be back to normal now.
You're just not going to let that go, are you?
Hell no.
They have rules in basketball, Bennett.
What? Don't defend SGA.
Basketball.
Don't go near him.
You can't touch him.
Do
Basketball
not
has
go
rules.
near him. Yeah.
Hey, if you want to have this conversation, you need to have it with Dr. Naismith.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't invent the rules of basketball, Bennett. I just talk about basketball. I didn't invent the game. I didn't invent the rules. But they have rules, and you can't foul people. They have a thing in basketball. It's called fouls, and you can't do it. And often people do it to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and then he walks to a line and he, just throws a ball into the rim, and next thing you know, he's got 34 points. He's a scoring champ. He's an MVP. He's a final MVP. He's the reigning world champion, and he's going to be inside FedEx Forum on Friday night. But just 7-6, the Thunder are in their past 13 games. Alex Caruso has been out. Isaiah Hartenstein been out. So they'll be shorthanded, it appears. Grizzlies obviously also will be as well. Massey ratings, you don't have a point spread out this early, but you go to Massey ratings and get a predicted score. They got OKC as a projected 8.5-point favorite. Final score, 119. Thunder. Grizzlies, 110. So that's not encouraging, but Bennett, that's why they play the games.
Yeah, man, and I believe if you're including the playoffs, I think JB said yesterday it's like 15 straight for the Thunder over the Grizzlies, so I feel like we're due.
I was going to leave that out. Bennett.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to come on Grind City Media and talk about an 0-15 record in the past 15 games.
It just means we're due, man. It just means we're due.
Or it could mean something else.
We'll see.
We're going to see. It could mean something else, but we're going to see. Hey, Michael, you know what? Let's not pretend we know. Let's ask Michael Wallace about it. He's going to join us next. Gary Parrish Show presented by Ortho South.
The only thing better than Saturday Night Hoops is when it comes with an exclusive Grizz hoodie. Every Saturday this season, $60 gets you a Grizzlies ticket and a limited edition Grizzlies hoodie. 4 different hoodie designs dropping across 4 Saturday games. Not sold anywhere else. Don't miss your shot to collect all 4 designs. Grab your tickets and gear up now at grizzlies.com/Saturday.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
The Grizzlies are proud to team up with Prime Global Group, a company on a mission to redefine real estate investment. By leveraging deep experience, strategic insight, and robust resources, Prime Global Group is shaping a smarter, socially responsible future. Whether you're an investor or simply curious, now's the time to explore innovative strategies that align with your values. Join the movement and discover how you can be a part of this exciting evolution. Visit primeglobalgroup.net to learn more and connect with the team today. That's primeglobalgroup.net.
Grizz Nation gets set for tip-off 1 hour before every Grizzlies home game with the warm-up show. Get the latest news, notes, and analysis live from courtside at FedEx Forum.
Who's going to be the tougher team that rebounds and prevents second-chance opportunities?
Join me, Lang Whitaker, along with Michael Wallace, Jessica Benson, and other personalities from Grind City Media, Memphis, and around the NBA. 1 hour before every home game, live at Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
Show presented by Ortho South. I'm in New York City. We'll be home later today. Back in studio tomorrow. Bennett Doyle back inside the Built Ford Tough studio producing the program. And now I'm joined by Michael Wallace, senior editor, Grind City Media. Joins me on Thursdays. Today is Thursday, based on what my iPhone told me. He's here right now. Michael Wallace, it's GP. How you doing on this Thursday morning?
Hey, I'm doing well, man. Good to be with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm on a little bit of a different device right now. My laptop is getting service for this big trip overseas to London, so they're putting all the security measures and everything on it to make sure I don't get hacked when we're over in Europe for the next 10 days.
So tell me what has to happen for you to take a laptop to Europe. What do they have to do?
You know what? They explained it to me. They just said, our IT department, which is right outside of our studios here, right outside of your studio, came in and said, hey, man, we need your laptop. We got to touch it for a little bit. And I'm like, all right, whatever you guys got to do, just make sure you do it. So it was some high-level stuff that I didn't even understand to make sure everything is safe and secure and all of those kind of things. We're in a different world right now, GP, a different world, man.
You don't have to tell me. I got a television in my hotel. Sometimes I turn it on, and, oh, buddy, it's wild out there. It's wild out there.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about last night in a minute, but let's focus on Europe for a second. You're getting ready to go. Have you been to London? Have you been to Berlin? Is this going to be a first-time thing for you?
No, I've been to London before. I was with the NBA Europe Games 2008, 2009. And that was the year the Miami Heat played the Brooklyn Nets in 2 games. The first game was in London, and the second game was in Paris, or one or the other. So I went to Paris first and then London. Caught the bullet train between the two under the English Channel with the NBA, and had a chance. That was the one and only time I interviewed and spoke with Jay-Z. He had just purchased minority ownership in the Nets, and they were playing a preseason game against the Miami Heat. And we were in O2 Arena the first year it opened, and sitting in the 100 section off the suite level. And it was Jay-Z and I chopping it up, man. I got a picture of it somewhere. I'm going to have to share it with you.
What a wild story. I mean, this business, this profession does put us often in like rooms where you look around and you're like, wow, how'd I end up here? Look who's there. I've had those experiences, but that's a great one. Like just sitting like at this point, like Jay-Z's not just a rapper, he's a legend. Like he's an icon. So for you to be in that moment, that's a neat thing. So like, how much is the Desmond Bane story going to be a thing connected to this, or is it something we're already over?
No, I think it's something that's going to be connected because unlike the normal NBA schedule where, you have 2 games in 3 nights where you just like Dillon Brooks, you hit the Dillon Brooks story and then you move on to SGA and Oklahoma City coming in. It's a quick page turn. We're going to be over 2 different countries with the same storylines and the same players and the same themes and the same teams, right? So depending on how you got the lead up to the first game, and then you're going to have a couple days off depending on how Desmond Bane plays. Then you got to revisit the Desmond Bane thing again going into to London. So depending on how the games turn out, he's playing like an all-star with Orlando right now. And he never reached all-star status with the Memphis Grizzlies. So, to face Dillon Brooks and to see what Dillon and Phoenix is doing ahead of you in the standings, and then to go face another guy in Desmond Bane that you parted with, and they're doing well in the standings as well, too. It's going to be a tough pill to swallow, but I think these Grizzlies will be competitive for sure.
Let's focus on last night. A loss inside FedEx Forum. Dillon Brooks took 22 shots. Got the post-game interview. The Grizzlies are shorthanded. We're a sizable underdog at tip-off, so it's not like how did they lose that game. They were supposed to lose that game, but what'd you make of what you saw in downtown Memphis last night?
Well, first and foremost, man, I had a chance to talk to Dillon before the game after Phoenix's shoot-around, right? And, the interview aired on Grizz Beat yesterday. We can go back to Grind City Media, check that out, check the stream out from that. But, he talked about Memphis still being a special place to him. Now, he wants to get under everybody's skin, and he's been a team removed now from the difficult departure that he had to make, right? But he said, listen, man, what he always remember is the whoop that trick days, being second in the West, Memphis fans being different. Once they love you for life, even when they hate you on certain games. You know what I mean? So he was really, really, really good about his time there. But having said all of that, it's one of those things where that Phoenix Suns team isn't overwhelming you with talent. They just don't. They don't overwhelm you with depth. They just know who they are and what they're there to do. And, you kind of let Dillon Brooks beat you last night, and that's not a good sign right now with where the Grizzlies are. There have to be fewer games where Ja Morant's in street clothes and Jaren Jackson Jr. is out there essentially playing as the lone threat that these teams have to contend with. You can't be undermanned all season long like this, man, and expect to get things done. So hopefully they get past this in the next couple weeks, but we've been saying that all season right now.
It is interesting with Dillon because, like I mentioned in the opening segment, I'm not going to relitigate it. Perhaps I was wrong, but I was I was 10 toes down. I was ready to move on as well. I thought it got to a place where it was just time to move on.
Mm-hmm.
But it is undeniable that this franchise has never been as good as it was when they had him since he's left. And the Houston franchise was good with him. The Phoenix franchise is better than it should be with him. He does appear to be among the best floor raisers in the National Basketball Association. Is that a reasonable way to put it?
That's reasonable, but it's also, and I go back to our conversation yesterday. I also asked Dillon, man, look, you're a veteran now. Like, you've matured too. It's not like you're the same Dillon Brooks that you were 3 years ago in Memphis, right? Like, you went to two teams where you clearly were not the best player, right? Like, in Houston, they had three other players that were better than you. You had to find, and you accepted that.
Right.
In Phoenix, that, you're second fiddle to, even though you took as many shots or more shots, but you're second fiddle to Booker. And then when Jalen Green comes back, you're going to have to give up some role to him. In Memphis, he wasn't ready to say, these guys are ready to do things I'm not ready to do yet, right? He was there before Desmond. He was there before Jaren. He was there before Ja. And he felt entitled in a way with Memphis to do things that were sort of borderline that he hasn't been since he left. They also were in a position where Houston was willing to pay him $20 million a year. That just wasn't where the Grizzlies were at that time. Now, since then, they've paid Jaren an extension. They've given Santi $17 or so million a year, but they weren't willing to pay Dillon $20 million at that time. And that made sense. It was time to move on, and it was best for both sides.
So last night, Cedric Coward, John Morant, Zach Edey, all out of the starting lineup. Not unexpected. Edey still a ways away, but we're unclear, I believe, on John Morant and Cedric Coward. What can you tell us about the availability, perhaps, for them tomorrow night?
Man, Ja was close from everything I heard yesterday. He was close to being able to play. And, at the last minute, and Isolo described it as a game-time decision, but Ja never came out and warmed up before the game. Usually when you're a game-time decision, you push through the warm-up and then make a decision. But I think the decision was made right before that he wasn't going to play or be able to play. So it truly is day-to-day. We'll see. He's been questionable for 3 games now. And the expectation was that, is he going to play in each of those 3? Normally, when the Grizzlies have you questionable, you typically play. This year has been different. Questionable can mean anything. As far as Cedric Coward, I do think they want to give him some time on that midfoot, that foot sprain. We'll see what his status is for tomorrow when it comes out later tonight, this afternoon at 5 o'clock. And, again, do I expect this to be long-term with Cedric? No. I think he will be playing by Europe, if not before then, and we'll see what it means for Ja as soon as tomorrow.
Last thing before I get you out of here, big NBA headline from yesterday, Trae Young traded from Atlanta to Washington. I was somewhat surprised to read, and I don't question the report, but it was just like it didn't strike me as obvious that Trae Young preferred destination was the Washington Wizards. That's where he wanted to go. Obviously, in some ways, that's because not everybody is interested in a Trae Young, but Washington clearly was. What do you make of that deal between the Hawks and the Wizards?
Well, he had to position himself. And to me, you don't go seek, hey, I want to go play for the worst team in the NBA right now, record-wise, right? But this is bigger than that. This is bigger than that. This is Trae Young saying, okay, what teams out there are willing to pay me the extension that I'm going to command this offseason and have the salary cap space? And the Washington Wizards are one of those teams that will have the salary cap space because they're built around so many young guys, Sarr and Bub Carrington and, some of these younger guys that they brought in the last couple of years who won't come up for major money and for another few years. And then there was also the Brooklyn Nets who are sort of in that situation where they're looking for their next phase of star. So Trae Young was motivated by getting paid first and foremost, more so than competitive reasons. So that limited his market, and where he is right now with the Washington Wizards, they're going to be an entertaining team. They're going to be better because he's there and he's an all-star. But I don't think they're going to be a threat anytime soon in the East. But it doesn't surprise me. What did surprise me was that no draft capital was involved either way in this situation. And when you have a guy like that looking for a major maximum type extension, there's usually some assets that are either attached to moving him or you're getting back in return for giving up on them. And this was a standard run-of-the-mill NBA-type transaction between a veteran and 2 other veterans coming back the other way. That's kind of surprising right there from that standpoint.
That is Michael Wallace, Grind City Media. Make sure you read him, grindcitymedia.com. He's on X, at my mic check. That's at my mic check. You're the best, buddy. I appreciate you being here. I'll see you real soon.
All right, safe travel, brother.
All right, that's Michael Wallace, Grind City Media. Bennett, I see you in the chat. You say you want to go to Berlin. You have a Berlin or London? I saw Roser ask, which one would you rather go to?
I've been to London before, and it was great. So Berlin, because I've never been.
I've never been to London. I've been to Europe a bunch at this point, and I've been to Berlin multiple times, but I've never been to London. We, of course, hosted an exchange student from Berlin, and so we've gone back to visit her. Here's the thing: if you've never been to Berlin, the thing that's striking, if you've been to other places in Europe, and then you've never been to Berlin, the thing that stands out about it is that it doesn't look like the other places in Europe. Like you go to
because all the old buildings were destroyed, right?
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
That is exactly. It looks like it was built in a different time.
Yeah.
And so as you're thinking through that, you're like, this doesn't look like Paris. This doesn't look like Barcelona. This doesn't look like why? Well, it was bombed in World War II.
Yeah.
So everything is you don't like, oh, that building's been here since 1634.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get that kind of stuff.
It's similar to it's like Atlanta in the South. Like you look around like all these old, these bigger cities in the South. I know Atlanta's probably the biggest.
Sure.
But obviously the city was pretty much destroyed in the Civil War, and so it's more modern looking than the rest of the South is. Yeah.
It's exactly right. Like I learned my first trip to Berlin. I learned two things. It doesn't look like the other major European cities because it had to be rebuilt, within the past, 100 years or whatever. And also, oh, buddy, don't ever bring up Hitler. They don't want to talk about it.
They don't want to talk about that. I figured as much. Yeah.
I had a real blind spot for that. Like, I just didn't know.
Were you really? You were going around asking people about Hitler, weren't you?
Not just
I can just picture it. Just basing off our opening segment, I can totally see you doing that. So I was like, what do you think? Yeah.
Not just random people, but it was like we're at dinner and we're like eating schnitzel and whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm with Diana, who like I helped on some small level raise, at least for, a year of her life. And I'm with her family and her parents and her grandparents. And I was just like,
so what do y'all think?
Well, no, it was like her grandparents lived through this.
Yeah.
All right. And so I was like,
that's a hell of an icebreaker.
I don't think it was, what do you think? I don't think I put it like that. But I was like, you know me. I was probably something like, I bet that was wild. and they shut down. I guess this is where I was. If you came to me from Germany and you were like, so you're from America? Yes. What part? Well, I was born in Memphis, but raised just outside of Memphis in Mississippi. Oh, Mississippi. Yeah. Oh, wow. So was that like, let's talk about slavery. I wouldn't shut down. I'd be like, I didn't live through that, but let's talk about it. I'll talk to you. Let's talk. And I guess I thought that was where everybody would be. And it wasn't like
no.
It wasn't like that at all. It was like they shut down. It was like, we don't talk about that. We don't. Like that's just that's something that happened, but it's not something we're gonna revisit. We don't talk about that. These are the type of people who have like photo. You probably have a photo. Kids these days, they'll never understand photo albums. You remember when people had photo albums?
I do. Yes.
You'd buy like a book for people who are young. You'd buy like a binder, and then you would take pictures with a camera, not with your phone, an actual camera, and then you would take your camera to like Walgreens, and then you come back tomorrow and they would hand you a envelope with a bunch of pictures in it. This is crazy. This was like 20 years ago. This ain't that long ago. And then you would take that envelope of pictures and that book that you bought at Walmart, you would pick the pictures, you'd put them in that book, and then you put that book on a shelf, and then like your mom would come over and you'd show her something like that. Is that the way it worked?
Dude, I'll never forget. We had we had really great seats to Monday Night Raw during the Attitude Era when I was a kid. And it was like me and my friend. My parents gave me a disposable camera, and I was so stoked to go and get the pictures developed and get them back. They were all I took the pictures wrong. They were all blurry, every single one of them. I have one really good picture of The Rock, and that's it.
See, now you would have an iPhone and you could hand it to a 3-year-old and they would take the best picture that's ever been taken.
Right.
We grew up in different times, Bennett. We had real struggles that people don't talk about.
You ain't kidding, man.
You couldn't get a clear picture at Raw when we were growing up.
No, you could not. You could not do that.
You know, people don't think about that too much.
Well, I'm glad you learned your lesson.
So here's my point. These are people that have photo albums with Hitler in it, like they went to the thing. You know, I don't know if that's exactly true. I'm not trying to incriminate anybody, but like in theory, they are people who could have photo albums with pictures. Like, oh yeah, this is the time I was in, downtown Berlin, and look at who was talking. Like that theoretically could be in their home, and I was like, all right, let's talk about it. I'm interested. Tell me what that was like. How do you get caught up in that nonsense? like you seem like pleasant people now, but at one point in your life, I bet you were kind of like different. What was going on? I was trying to learn. It was coming from an honest place.
Okay, yep.
Sometimes I look at America right now and I'm like, man, some people are probably caught up in some nonsense that they're going to look back on someday and be like, man, I can't believe I was okay with all that nonsense, right? And so I was trying to drill down on that with them. I don't know where you were in the middle of all that stuff, but I bet you got pictures of it, and let's talk about it. They don't want to talk about it.
No. I think rightfully so.
Perhaps rightfully so. I didn't understand that going in, but I know it now. I know, hey, next time I go to Berlin, this is what I'm trying to tell any Grizzlies fan who goes to Berlin to see the Grizzlies take on Desmond Bane and the Magic. Don't bring it up. They don't want to talk about it.
Okay, good.
Just don't bring it up. Don't bring it up. I've never been to London. How was London? You enjoyed it?
London was cool, yeah. I love, obviously they have so many big events there and stuff, and so I love, the big shot is always of Big Ben and the London Eye, the big, gigantic Ferris wheel, and I was like, I've been to both of those. I've done both of those things, so that's always cool. It was great.
All right, I'm gonna get there at some point, Bennett. I might do it this summer. Just I don't like the idea. I don't like going through this world knowing that there's places you've been that I haven't been.
Yeah, and I got to get to Berlin. So
all right.
But I will not be on this trip.
I'm gonna get the
despite asking.
That goes without saying. All right. Nobody assumed you were going on this trip. All right.
No, I tried. I did try to weasel my way in.
I know you tried. You're not going. Everybody knows you're not going. You can't even get to Las Vegas. Don't try to go to Berlin before you can even get to Las Vegas.
That's
all right.
Yeah, I should have probably thought about that before I asked. Yeah.
You need to think of your travel schedule as baseball. You were trying to go to the big leagues without going to AA. Mm-hmm. All right. You need to go to AA first. Then maybe you could talk about going to the big leagues, all right? You can't even get to Las Vegas. If you can't get to Las Vegas, you can't be talking about going to London and Berlin.
Right, probably.
All right?
Yeah.
That's a Michael Wallace trip, all right?
Yeah.
Nobody assumed you were going. You're not allowed. You're not allowed to try. I don't even think you're allowed to walk into Memphis International Airport.
I don't believe so. Well, I don't have a real ID, so I'm actually not.
You see what I'm saying?
I'm actually not. They told me on my last trip that I'm not allowed to fly at all if I show up without a real ID again.
You're not allowed to do anything.
Yeah, they put me on the list. Yep.
All right. So I don't like the idea, despite you not even being allowed at Memphis International, I don't like the idea of you being places I've never been. So I'm going to try to get to London and Peru. In 2026, I'm trying to go to London and Peru. I want to be able to sit with you 5 days a week and be like, you ain't never been nowhere I ain't never been.
Okay.
That's what I want to
you'll love Peru, man. It's great. If you ever got time, I'll tell you all about it. Yeah.
You know what? We're going to do that on a Tuesday show someday.
Okay, sounds good. I'll bring my pictures. I have pictures that we got printed out at Walgreens, so it'd be great.
Oh, man, this is going to work out well.
Good.
This is going to work out well. All right. When we come back, can we turn our attention to other things?
Sure.
Ole Miss is playing in what amounts to the Final Four of the college football postseason tournament tonight. Like, they hang banners for that. We all remember that, 73, 85, 2008. It's an amazing thing. From Memphis Tigers basketball tonight, Ole Miss football gets to do the equivalent of that. They're in the Final Four tonight. They're playing Miami. It's going to happen in Arizona. They're a slight underdog, but Bennett, that's why they played the games. We'll talk college football next. Gary Parrish Show presented by Ortho South.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
It's gonna be food. Oh, Jaron!
Support your Grizzlies by voting for them to the 2026 All-Star Game.
Oh, Edie with the big swat on the deck, floats it up, off the glass and in. Cedric Power, yes sir!
Vote now by going to Grizzlies.com/All-Star.
Nate Bargatze.
Look, I say a lot of dumb stuff. I try to keep it in front of large groups. Seems to go better that way.
Big Dome Eyes World Tour.
When you say something dumb one-on-one, it's a lot for that person. I'll say it, then I can just feel that they feel the weight of my life on their shoulders.
Tickets and info at NateBargatze.com. Don't miss the Big Dome Eyes World Tour. Nate Bargatze.
How are you able to release and have an instrumental song become a huge deal?
And I forget who the disc jockey was, but he put the wrong side on. He put the Green Onions by mistake and played the B side instead of the A side.
No!
And that's when the change happened. These people started to call the station and say, play that song again.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
The long goodbye begins. A very special evening with Journey. Final Frontier Tour. Journey. Tickets are on sale now at JourneyMusic.com. Your chance to say goodbye to the songs that changed our lives. Journey. Final Frontier Tour.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. That's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays, in the evenings, and even on Saturdays. So next time you find an unscheduled appearance from an unforeseen injury in your life, make sure to get in touch with Ortho South. Visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's orthosouth at orthosouth.org. Now I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
College football playoff semifinals. They get underway tonight. Ole Miss, Miami, State Farm Stadium, Glendale, Arizona. Tomorrow night we get Indiana, Oregon, but it's Thursday night football, not with the NFL. It's college football. Tonight's the Final Four of college football. I don't think people think of it that way because it's just we don't label it that way. But like if this were the Final Four of college basketball, it'd be on a Saturday and we'd all be looking forward to it. Tonight's the Final Four. It's the Final Four of college football. You fired up, Bennett?
Yeah, I mean, and I also just love how the sport is doing it now. It's why I'm in favor of the playoff expanding even more, because it gives more fan bases things to hang on to and like have great memories of, right? Like you mentioned, like if we would have found a way to get in that college football playoff this year, we're all buying the merch and the coffee mugs and the shirts and the hats and we're going to hang a banner somewhere and all that good stuff. And so I just think it makes the sport more interesting and more fun.
There's no question. The more opportunities you have for schools to experience stuff like this, the better. It's not always about, sometimes people get lost in this. When you create a postseason tournament, sometimes folks will argue things like, well, that team has no chance of winning the national championship. So why are they even here? You hear it a lot about James Madison about Tulane. Based on what happened last week, probably should have heard it about Alabama. If you're going to hear about James Madison or Tulane, probably should have heard it about Alabama too. But it's not about, are these teams good enough to win the whole thing? It's about the experience, the journey. Ole Miss fans, a lot of them, have had the best season that they'll ever experience, perhaps, right now, regardless of what happens tonight. This is always going to be something they remember, something they talk about. A lot like 2008 Memphis. It didn't end well. You probably remember that. But, man, I could sit here and talk to you for 2 hours about that season, about that tournament, about that game. That's how you create real momentum with young people, with fan bases. Yeah, having the trophy at the end is awesome, but sometimes just having an incredible ride on your way to wherever it goes can really grab people in a way that it is otherwise difficult to achieve. And so often on this show, we end up, intentionally or not, in conversations about the lack of enthusiasm about Tiger basketball relative to where it was when I was young, relative to where it was when you were young. A lot of that, I think, has to do with conference affiliation, the American falling apart. You looking around in your neighborhood, so to speak, and not seeing comparable programs to you. But some of it is also, when's the last time Memphis was on a, quote, NCAA tournament run? Quite literally 2009. Do you know how long 2009 was? Do you know there are students right now enrolled at the University of Memphis? They can't remember Tyreek Evans.
Right.
They have no memory of the last time a basketball player in a Memphis uniform made it to the Sweet 16. There are students at Memphis that have no memory of that because they were too young to remember that. That's a real problem because I've watched it work for Ole Miss over the past month or so. You know, my wife is a graduate of Ole Miss.
Yeah, go ahead.
And so, like, you know, I want good things for Ole Miss. I'm not somebody who, like, I graduated from Memphis. I'm a Memphis fan. I hate Ole Miss. If it's Memphis and Ole Miss, let me be clear, I want Memphis every time. But I don't mind seeing Ole Miss do well. That's my home state. It's my wife's alma mater. I like tonight, I want Ole Miss to win. I want Ole Miss to win the national championship. I think it would be an amazing story, but also just awesome for the state of Mississippi. Hotty-toddy and all that stuff. But more than that, regardless of where this goes, I've watched it take hold of people who live in my neighborhood, of people who just I'm around a lot because our kids are friends or because our kids play baseball or soccer or basketball together. Like I've got friends. There are kids right now who play baseball with my son who are in Arizona. They're skipping school. They're doing this. Cool. This is a lifetime memory for them. They jumped on a plane and they went to Phoenix, Arizona to watch the Ole Miss Rebels play a football game tonight. And this is going to be the type of thing that makes a 9-year-old care forever, that makes a 7-year-old care forever, that makes a 25-year-old reinvest. It grabs everybody. I can remember a story like my mom told me, like during the 2008 NCAA tournament. She was like at Walmart or Kroger or wherever you buy stuff. And, you know, they have like intercom systems. And you can get on there and be like, clean up aisle 7, or we need help at register 4, whatever they have those things for. But just like as evidence of how a group of people can just get caught up in the thing. Like you're just shopping on a Saturday at Walmart. You're going in there to buy toothpaste or whatever you buy at Walmart. And just randomly somebody's on the intercom. Click, go Tigers, go. You know, like everybody just fired up, caught up in it. And that's what's happening with Ole Miss fans right now. You're roping in young kids who are having this is how I grow up loving Memphis basketball. You know where it starts? Keith Lee in the Final Four. This is how I became a Mets fan. Yeah, the Mets were a AA affiliate in Jackson, Mississippi, and that was a part of it. Yeah, they were on WWOR, so there were only 3 MLB franchises you could watch on TV in the early 80s. It was the Cubs and the Braves and the Mets, so I picked one of those. But you know what part of it is? They had young, awesome players, and then they won a World Series. And it was like, man, this is fun. That's my team. Mm-hmm. This is great. All right? This is how you grow fan bases. Ask somebody why they're a Dallas Cowboys fan. It is, if they're not from Dallas, it's going to be because either their parents were Cowboys fans or they experienced the great times. This is how it happens. And with Memphis basketball, we haven't had that in a long time. I think the league association is the biggest factor with enthusiasm connected to Tiger basketball waning. But some of it is the thing that Ole Miss football is having right now, Memphis basketball has not had in a long time anything close to it. And I'm watching Ole Miss flip fans and get fans fired up. I'm watching people print shirts. I'm watching people buy new hats. I'm watching people jump on planes. And that'll be an awesome scene tonight. 7:30 Eastern tip, 6:30 Central kick, not tip. At State Farm Stadium down in Glendale, like I said, Miami 3-point favorite now. It was 3.5 when it opened. We're going to get Bennett to pick it a little later on.
Number 2.
Memphis has its next quarterback.
Oh, let's go. This was exciting to see last night.
Okay, give me a breakdown of Marcus Stokes since you're so excited.
Well, he's thrown a lot of touchdown passes. The reason I'm excited, GP, is it appears he's got a little bit of swag. You like the
swag?
Yeah. I think he might become a fan favorite. I mean, he's got to be good, right? But if he is good, I think there's a good chance he could become a fan favorite here.
I couldn't possibly have an independent, strong opinion on Marcus Stokes. I never heard of this person until yesterday.
I'm not gonna pretend I do either.
All right, you could call him anything. I didn't know this person existed yesterday. All right, but he has committed to Memphis, and people who follow this stuff say that this is a good development. He was at West Florida, it's a Division II school. And he was a finalist for what amounts to the Division II Heisman. He led West Florida to a 10-2 record, threw for 3,297 yards and 30 touchdowns. He did have 13 interceptions. I don't love that. I don't know. Like stop throwing it to the other team so much. But he threw it to his team more. And everybody I know who does have an opinion about this seems to think that it's a good thing. So I'll take it. Hey, Trinidad Chambliss was playing Division II football last year.
You're damn right he was.
And tonight he's playing in the Final Four of the college football playoff against Oregon or against Miami. So hopefully, this is what I'm hoping. I'm hoping Charles Huff just found the next Trinidad Chambliss.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm just glad that it's like the Charles Huff press conference was like 2 weeks ago. I mean, I'm glad that this has gotten done so quickly, right? And you get like all this time to, get this guy in and prepare and stuff like that. It's a good development. I think it's a good development.
It seems like it. So Memphis, if you want the simple headline, just signed the next Trinidad Chambliss. They got a commitment from the next Trinidad Chambliss. So this time next year, perhaps Memphis is playing in the college football playoff semifinal. Fingers crossed.
Number 3.
Nice basketball game last night in the state of Tennessee. It was east a little bit. It was in Nashville, Memorial Gym. Final score, Vanderbilt 96, Alabama 90. If you were a Vandy skeptic, shouldn't be anymore. They're legitimate, 15-0. Do you know where they were picked in the preseason SEC poll?
I will say, how many teams are in the SEC again?
16.
I'll say they were picked 12.
11.
Yeah.
They were picked 11th behind Ole Miss, behind Mississippi State, and they are now 4th in the top 25 and 1. They're in the top 10 at KenPom, 15-0 with their first big signature win last night. Obviously, they got a victory over Memphis in overtime earlier this season. But that Alabama program is, they've won SEC championships under Nate Oates. They've beaten good teams this season. This was the game where I think you could reasonably this time yesterday be like, all right, let's see what Vanderbilt does against an undeniable good team. Like, SMU might be good. Some of these other teams might be good that they've beaten. But, they haven't beaten somebody that when they played the game, that team had a number next to its name. That had not happened before last night. So, all right, let's see what happens when they got to play a team that is, also ranked in the top 15. and they controlled the game, not necessarily from start to finish, but pretty much from start to finish. So incredible job Mark Byington's doing in Nashville, and it's just a reminder that at the power conference level, at minimum, if your school gives you the resources and you're the right guy for the job, you can take a bad thing and make it great very, very quickly, almost without exception. Penn State, sure. There's some other schools in basketball. You're really climbing up a tall mountain. Good luck. But with few exceptions, at the power conference level, if you hire the right guy and give him the right resources, great things can follow. We're not playing by the old rules anymore. And Vanderbilt's a great example of this, both on the football side and the men's basketball side. Women's basketball, I gather, is great as well. Baseball, too. They're operating at a high level at Vandy right now, and that used to be like a joke of an athletic department. Incredible academic school, joke of an athletic department. Not anymore. 15-0 now, 2-0 in the SEC. Like I said, 4th in the top 25-1. Vanderbilt, a legitimate national championship contender.
Number 4.
And in the state of Mississippi last night, our old friend John Calipari traveled to Oxford. He beat Ole Miss 94-87. Arkansas is now 12-3. And it's interesting because this happens last night. At the same time, Kentucky is losing at home to Missouri. And this is one of those things where, a little bit like I said about the Dillon Brooks trade, or the Dillon Brooks decision to allow him to just walk in free agency. I don't want to relitigate it because I think that's cheap. Like, have an opinion in real time. I hate it when I hear people say things like, oh, yeah, I knew that was going to be terrible. Well, did you say it then? Did you say it 3 months ago? It's terrible now. We can all look at it and see it. And now you're saying I knew it was going to be terrible. But unless you said that 3 months ago, before anybody knew it was going to be terrible, I don't want to hear about that. So, like, St. John's is bad now, right? Or at least not as good as they were supposed to be. And you'll see people jump on Twitter and be like, I knew St. John's wasn't built right. Well, did you tweet that in July? If you didn't tweet that in July, I don't want to hear about it in January, all right? We can all see they're not good now. That's easy. If you want to brag about what you knew, show me that you knew it in July, not in January, right? So I don't want to relitigate the John Calipari decision at Kentucky. It was probably time for a divorce there. But it is interesting. Get out of here, Hall of Fame coach who won a national championship here, who is still enrolling top 5 recruiting classes without exception. Get out of here. We don't want you anymore. Okay. Now he's in the same league at a lesser school, at least traditionally from a basketball perspective. And he has built this thing into a better thing than what you got. You told him to leave, go find a new place to do his job, and he's doing his job better at a new place than the guy you hired to replace him is doing it at your place. If you're wondering why Mark Pope's life isn't fun right now, that's probably why.
Yeah, and I think too, like, it's just the tournament success that because that's why they wanted it, right? Because he was losing in the tournament too early, right? That's why they wanted to move on.
Yes.
And
yeah, it was like, hey man, the recruiting classes are fun, but we can't lose to St. Peter's no more. We're tired of losing to St. Peter's in schools like that.
And I would just the tournament is so fickle, right? Like, it's just impossible to. I think it's impossible to gauge, performances now based off like just tournament success. Like
that's smart. Like, here's, if I were an athletic director, obviously all situations are different, but I'd like to think if I were an athletic director, I would try to hold myself to this standard. I'm not focusing on the NCAA tournament when it comes to my men's basketball coach. Do I have the right person for the job? Yes or no? Ask myself that, independent of what's going on. Just like, take it all in, but do I have the right person for the job? That's the first question. If I'm on the fence about retaining or moving on from somebody, the first question, do I have the right guy for the job, independent of everything else? Like, I'm around this person all the time. I know this person. Is it the right person for the job? Answer that question. And then if that question was, I think I do have the right person for the job, if the answer to that question is that, then I move on to the next one. And before we even start an NCAA tournament, I say, do I want this person to continue or not? because so often in college athletics, particularly basketball, you get caught up in what happens in a single elimination tournament featuring 40-minute basketball games with a short three-point line and foul trouble and hamstrings and everything else. And you can overreact to one game. And that is what leads you to saying, this guy's never been to the Sweet 16. Okay, but he's had 3 straight great years. And then he got upset one time, ran into a better team one time, and whatever happened. And his best player was out one time. So you're focused on he's never been to a Sweet 16. Has he been a good coach? I can explain why he hadn't been to a Sweet 16. I just did it. Is he a good coach?
Are we competing for our league?
Yeah, all that stuff. Just like college basketball season is long, and the decision makers focus so intensely on a week. It's 18 weeks of regular season, and you can have a terrible first 6 weeks, but if you have a great last 2 weeks, that changes the perception of the way people look at you, whether it should or not. So what I'm trying to tell you is so many mistakes are made by decision makers in college athletics because they can't see the big picture because they get focused on the way it ends. And I'm not saying necessarily that should change the way Kentucky handled the John Calipari situation. It had gotten to a place with your fan base that it was so toxic and uncomfortable and awkward. It was probably better for everybody to move on. Kentucky probably needed a divorce from John just as much as John needed a divorce from Kentucky. But if you could have somehow de-escalated all of those emotions after the loss to St. Peter's, after the loss to Oakland, because they came, in a handful of years, and it was just like, what is the point of being good in the regular season? What is the point of recruiting 5-star point guards if you're going to lose to Oakland and St. Peter's? We got to go. And that was the overwhelmingly popular opinion of the fan base, and it seeped into the athletic department. And so they had to do what they had to do. So that's how they divorced. But if there was ever a way to get the fan base to not think that way, to just calm down and be like, think big picture. Okay, yeah, we lost to Oakland and that stinks, but it's because this dude who's never made this many three-pointers in his life made all these three-pointers. Like, it shouldn't happen, but it did, and that's why. Because a random guy you'll never think about again made a bunch of threes. That's why you're going to move on from a Hall of Fame coach? Because that on some level is what they did. I think mistakes are made often when you can't see the big picture because you get caught up in the moment. And you see it in football too. Is Penn State going to be better off in 2 years without James Franklin than they would have been if they'd have just wrote it out? I don't know. But I think it's easy to imagine a scenario where they go, we had one of the 10 best coaches in the sport, and he got off to a bad start when he wasn't supposed to be bad in the 2025 season, and then we pulled the trigger on him. And now this is perhaps going to happen. You're going to look up in 2 years, and Virginia Tech's ranked 11th with James Franklin, and Penn State's unranked with a coach, whatever. Like, there's starting to be some idea that is what happened at Kentucky. You got caught up in the moment and said, we can't do this anymore, and you pushed out a Hall of Fame coach who was maybe diminishing on some level to what he used to be, but is still perhaps one of the best coaches in the sport. Arkansas ranked 15th in the country right now. They're 12-3, beat Ole Miss last night. They'll move up in the AP poll on Monday as long as they don't take a loss this weekend.
Number 5.
Okay, I don't think you know this Roku CEO, chairman, founder, but his name is Anthony Wood. He did an interview yesterday with Variety, and I wanted to get your thoughts on this. Do you see what this fellow said? Okay, so Anthony Wood, he's talking to Variety, and he said, listen, here's the whole deal. I got some ideas about where all of this is going. And among other things, he said that within the next 3 years, he believes there will be a Hollywood blockbuster. Like, you go to the theaters on a Friday night to see it, and it's going to be the number one movie in the world is this movie, and it will be completely AI generated. Do you buy that?
I buy that there will probably be a movie in theaters that is completely AI generated. Yes. Is it going to be a big box office blockbuster that people go and see and it makes a ton of money? My hope would be that people are smart enough to to see.
We're not. Let me stop you there. We're not smart enough.
I know.
If you're banking on people being smart enough, let me just stop you there. I don't even care what you're talking about, films or politics or anything. If you're banking on, I'm hoping people are smart enough. For right there, we're not smart enough.
I would not go see that movie because I believe that like there has to be an actual human element to art, which is what these things are at the end of the day. So no, I think there will be. I think yes, there will probably be a movie in theaters that is completely AI generated. I believe that. Will it become some massive success? I hope not. And I am skeptical that it will be because I do think there will be a huge portion of the population that's like, come on, man. Like, we're not stupid.
But we are stupid.
I know we fall for
We are stupid.
I know we fall for these videos online every day.
Yes,
but like when you're telling us this is a completely AI generated movie, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just off base. But
you've got the right answer. You're just interpreting it wrong. You're saying, hey, listen, man, this ain't going to be what he says it's going to be because, like, we're not all stupid. Yes, we are. We are all stupid. We're very stupid. We're stupid people. I don't know if you watch the news.
I don't think so. I think a lot of what we see on the internet's stupid.
Broadly speaking, like, you can have opinions about yourself and me and other people, but broadly speaking, as a people, we're a stupid people. Broadly,
I'd like to think that that's inaccurate.
I mean, I would love to think it's inaccurate, but I know it's not. We are a stupid people. I don't know if you watch the news. I don't know if you've been paying attention, but we ain't that bright. All right. So I agree with you that I would like to think we are not going to accept this. No, we want to watch Leonardo DiCaprio train for a job and then execute that job. And we want to watch Craig Brewer write that script and then direct that script. I would like to think, like you, that we are smart enough to reject anything that falls short of that. But we're stupid people, so I have no confidence in us.
And to be clear, like I'm not like some anti-AI person. Like, remember there was the uproar about the Coca-Cola Christmas commercial, and they were like, it's completely 100% AI generated. This is wrong. Blah, blah, blah. It was a great commercial. I saw it like plenty of times on TV over the holidays. It was a nice commercial.
Well, like, I think you can Google this and find out. Just be careful. But like one of the most popular adult film stars now is totally AI generated. It's not a real person. You got a bunch of weirdos just out there, like, you know what people do.
That's concerning. We cannot disconnect ourselves. It's okay to escape. It's okay to escape. There's okay to escape. There's nothing wrong with escaping.
I don't think there's anything wrong with escaping.
But we have to stay within reality at some point.
Bennett, we don't. No, we don't, because we're not. Here's what you're saying. You're saying that's a bridge too far. And I'm telling you, the votes are already in. It's not a bridge too far. That's where we're at. We live in a world right now where guys are out there like and perhaps women as well.
Mm-hmm.
They're laying they're you know what goes on. I don't have to tell you what goes on. But they ain't watching a real person no more.
Yeah, I think too, like the big eye roll for me comes to this, like, because he's saying this Roku CEO. You've seen other studios say this and stuff. And the reason that they keep saying AI is coming and get ready for it and blah, blah, it's because they're going to save millions of dollars by doing that. You don't have to pay anybody.
You don't have to pay Craig Brewer $10 million to write a script. You don't have to pay Jennifer Lawrence $30 million to be in your movie. Hey, instead of paying Jennifer Lawrence $30 million, why don't we just make somebody who looks and sounds exactly like Jennifer Lawrence?
Yeah,
that's where we're headed. That's the point of Anthony Wood, Roku founder, chairman, and CEO. He's like, you save millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars in cost by doing AI films. You can get the same story or similar stories, but I don't have to pay Leonardo DiCaprio $30 million. I can invent Leonardo DiCaprio. He'll look like Leonardo DiCaprio. he'll move like we don't have to pay the humans. We can invent new things that do the same thing. It's over, Ben. It's over for us.
This is the great fight of our. This is the great fight of our time. I fight against this and push back against this.
Ben, because they're going to replace Jennifer Lawrence first, but you know who's coming next?
Yeah.
It's me and you.
I know. Listen, I've never in my life been a person that would go protest anything, frankly. Like, you'll never see me standing anywhere.
Because you might get shot in the face 3 times.
But at the same time,
hey, this ain't a good time to be protesting. You get shot in the face 3 times in your car.
But I can promise you that when the first 100% AI generated movie hits theaters, I'm standing out front of the theater with my sign saying, F this, we're not going to do this, and I hope people will join me because we're fighting against this.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I think more likely,
you can have Coca-Cola commercials. Just leave the movies and the TV shows and art alone, all right?
I think more likely they're just probably going to be lines out the building.
No, there won't. There will not be.
Well, take it up with Anthony Wood. That's what he said. He's the Roku founder. You're not the Roku founder.
I see what you're doing, Anthony. I see what you're doing.
It would be the Roku founder trying to find a cheap way out of this, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. I see what you're doing, Roku founder. You're not the Apple founder. You're not the Apple TV founder. You're the Roku founder.
Yeah, we fight against this, all right? I don't like this.
All right, Bennett, I'll show up at the Paradiso with you. Whenever whenever Anthony Wood and Roku bring a future Best Picture nominee to the Paradiso with completely AI directors and producers and cast members, I'll protest with you.
Okay, thank you.
But, man, I ain't trying to get shot in the face.
Fair enough.
It is fair enough. We'll be back with GP's Carry-On.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzly stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
Watching the Grizzlies is easy with FanDuel Sports Network. If you have cable or satellite, you're all set. Find us on your channel lineup. You can also use your TV provider login to watch games on the FanDuel Sports Network app. No cable or satellite? Subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network online. You can also watch on Prime Video by adding a FanDuel Sports Network subscription. Not sure where to start? Visit FanDuelSportsNetwork.com to learn more.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball. But the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board. A class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
The Grizzlies are the one thing everyone in the family can agree on. So join us every Sunday this season for Sunday Family Fun Days. It's a steal at just $35 and includes a ticket to the game, a $10 food voucher, post-game free throws on the court, and a meet and greet with mascot Grizz. Space is limited, so grab your tickets now for this unique experience your family won't soon forget. Go to grizzlies.com/Sunday and have a fun day.
Grizzlies every Sunday this season for Sunday Family Fun Days. It's a steal at just $35. It includes a ticket to the game, a $10 food voucher, post-game free throws on the court, and a photo with mascot Grizz. The next game for the unique experience your family won't soon forget. It's Sunday, January 11th. That's this Sunday when the Grizzlies take on the Brooklyn Nets at 2:30 p.m. Go to Grizzlies.com/Sunday to buy your tickets today. That's Grizzlies.com/Sunday. Let's do carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we miss today?
Well, I know today we were mostly focused on Grizzlies and Suns. Dillon Brooks returned to FedEx Forum, but there were other basketball games played throughout the country last night, even at the professional level. And the Lakers played one. LeBron James did not participate in it. And that means he, at 41 years old, has missed 18 games out of 35. He's played 18 out of 35. If my math is correct, that means he's missed 17. If he misses one more game this season, he is ineligible for postseason awards. LeBron, of course, has been involved in a record 21 straight NBA All-Star games. It sounds like he might not be involved in the next one. Big Bet Bennett, how does your heart ache for our king to possibly not participate in an All-Star game for the first time in 2 decades?
Wait, wouldn't he get he could get in with the fan vote, right?
Yeah, but the fan vote ain't going so well for him, I don't believe.
Are you serious?
I think I'm serious.
What the hell?
You tell me.
Why would we not vote our king and savior into the All-Star game in what could perhaps be his final season ever? I think the fans have really missed the mark here, to be quite honest.
Bennett, this is something you're going to have to take up with the fans. I fundamentally agree with you. I don't want to watch an All-Star game without the king. I mean, if I'm being honest, I don't want to watch an All-Star game, period, with the king, without the king. I don't really care if I'm telling you the truth. But history, it can be stopped. He's been making history for 2 decades, and now it can be stopped at 21 years. LeBron James, possibly to miss the next All-Star game because he's missed too many games. In all seriousness, this is where that rule that they put in starts to work against them, right?
Yeah.
Because LeBron James, everybody else in the world, you got to play 65 games to be eligible for All-Star games, MVPs, Defensive Player of the Years, all that stuff. All right? So in theory, that's supposed to encourage people to play. But what happens when you miss too many games? When you've missed the number and it's like, okay, now it doesn't matter how many games you miss. You ain't eligible for anything. What happens now? He barely plays. That's what happens now.
Right. Man, I wonder if the league doesn't intervene here and do some honorary All-Star, spot for him or something like that.
They would do it for Clayton Kershaw.
I think they would. They would
do it.
Yeah.
They would do it for Clayton Kershaw. We'll see if they can do something like that for LeBron James. But he missed another game last night. And like I said, now, if he gets to a place where they say it's over, you're ineligible for everything, you know what he does? The Lakers go to wherever they go, and he just doesn't play.
Yep.
I mean, it becomes counterproductive. You put the rule in to make players play or encourage players to play. But once they miss that number, well, then it's like, what's the point of playing now? Particularly when you're 41 years old.
Right.
So now you will you've seen less of LeBron this year than you would have liked. But now I would assume you're going to see less of LeBron going forward than you would have liked. Not necessarily because he's too old to play or too injured to play or too tired to play, but because what is the point in playing all of these games now when you're not eligible for anything anymore? So
sure.
LeBron, yeah. That's where we're headed.
Considering, I mean, they're probably going to be a playoff team. I think we all think they're going to finish in that top 6. And yeah, why would if it's going to be like this, why wouldn't you just save him for the playoffs?
In 5 years, if you and I are lucky enough, fortunate enough to still be talking to each other, I submit that rule will not be in place.
I don't think so either.
They might have something different and something better thought out, but this one, it had good intentions, but it has unintended consequences, and we're about to see it with the NBA's all-time scoring leader.
What's today's biggest game?
All right, Big Bet Bennett. Hey, you're on a little bit of a roll. I don't even know if you know. I don't even know if you know, but your record now is 289, 256, and 4. You're plus 3.1 units. It's not as good as you've ever been, but it's definitely not as bad as you've ever been. So
shout out PJ Haggerty.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. College football playoff semifinal tonight. Miami, Ole Miss, State Farm Stadium. We're doing it down in Glendale. 6:30 p.m. kick. Go watch it on ESPN. Miami minus 3.5, total 52.5. How are you going to act?
Oh, I like that you got me the half point there. Let me go ahead and take Ole Miss.
Don't you have to?
Yeah. With the 3.5. If it was 3, I'm probably leaning Miami. Because you got me that half point, I'm gonna go Ole Miss here. I think it's gonna be a good game.
I hope so. Do you struggle at all with your? I mean, you bleed blue.
Mm-hmm.
Do you struggle at all with Ole Miss is in the Final Four? I mean, that's what this is. It's like the bigger Final Four. Like the basketball Final Four is awesome. I can't wait to go there again. But it is not as big as what we're about to watch over the next 2 nights. And Ole Miss is in the Final Four of the college football playoff. Do you struggle at all with, hey, that school's just right down the road. I wouldn't mind seeing them go to the championship game. On the other hand, I bleed blue, F Ole Miss. Where are you at on this?
I don't have like hate in my heart for them like some people might. Mainly because they've always been in my lifetime like the bottom feeder kind of the SEC, and so now that they're
talk down to them.
Well, no, but now that they're having this success, like it's kind of cool. Like I've never really looked down on them because it's like their league looked down on them, so it's like I'm not saying I feel sorry for them because I don't have a problem with Ole Miss at all.
I don't have a problem with Ole Miss either.
There's some other SEC schools I do, but not them.
The Vols.
Come on.
I know where you're at. I know where you're at. I have no problem with Ole Miss. I root for Ole Miss. I want Ole Miss to do well. Like if it's Memphis against Ole Miss, I want Memphis to beat Ole Miss. But if it's Ole Miss against Miami or in the Final Four against anybody other than Memphis, hotty toddy and all that stuff. Interestingly, perhaps not, but I had no interest in going to Ole Miss out of high school or out of anything. I never wanted to go to school there. I just had no interest in going to Oxford to Ole Miss. I always wanted to go to Memphis. I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody other than me growing up in DeSoto County, but I had never had any interest in going to school at Ole Miss. But my wife's a graduate. She has multiple degrees from the University of Mississippi. So we'll order some food tonight in the assumption that I make it there. Okay. And we'll root for the Rebels to upset Miami
I'm good with that.
Advance to the national championship game. So it should be a fun game tonight. It's the Fiesta Bowl, doubling as a college football playoff semifinal. Ole Miss, Miami. Bennett says take the Rebels plus the points.
What are we watching on TV?
Do you watch The Pit?
I don't, but I feel like I need to because it's all anybody's talking about. I heard JB and CJ talking about it earlier, and it's one of those FOMO things. Like, I never really had any interest in it, but then it won some Emmy Awards,
right.
and now I feel like everybody's watching it and talking about it, so I feel like I have to watch it.
I think we're on the same page here. I've watched one episode. I didn't, it was fine. Whatever. It was fine. But then it won all the awards, and I was like, okay, what am I missing? Should I dive back into this thing? And then I think I just, I started doing other things and forgot about it. But season 2 launches today, and they're going to do it in a more traditional way. Every Thursday, they launch one episode. I think it's like 20 episodes this season. So it's a traditional TV schedule. One episode a week. They're not just dumping it all on you like they do on Netflix. We've talked about this before. I think we agree on this. I don't like you to just dump the whole thing on me.
I don't like that either. I like us to share these moments together as a community.
I want to share moments with you.
Yeah.
And everybody else. And what happens when you dump the whole thing on me? I'm busy usually or distracted, one of the two. And so then I see people go like, oh man, season whatever of whatever was great. I just watched the whole thing. And I'm like, shit, I didn't even watch episode 1 yet. You just watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm behind. And then I feel like, oh, I don't have nothing to do. Like I can't even catch up. And then I just forget about it. Like this happens all the time. They dump the entire season of something on Netflix. And by the time I can even think about trying to finish it, somebody says, oh, I just watched it all and it sucked.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, I don't
Stranger
watch that
Things.
then. Yeah, the same, I mean, I never got into the Stranger Things thing. I watched the first season. I was like, I get why people are nostalgic about this, but I don't love it. And I just never
missed the mark.
Okay, Bennett. But what I'm trying to tell you is I like it the way the Pit is doing it. So season 2 starts today. Episode 1 drops today. Episode 2 will drop next Thursday. Episode 3 will drop the following Thursday. No skips. It's going to be consecutive weeks without exception. The Pit season 2 and all of its awards, it drops today. You can watch it wherever you watch stuff like that. HBO Max app.
What's the best thing we've read?
So Sam Quinn's got a piece over at CBSSports.com about the Trae Young trade. He gives the Hawks a B+ for making the deal and the Wizards a B-. So you could read it and make sense of that. CBSSports.com. Sam Quinn on the Trae Young trade to Washington.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow's going to be Friday. Man, if I'm lucky, I'm going to be back in studio in Memphis without any scars. That's what I'm hoping for. We're going to get you ready for Grizz Thunder inside FedEx Forum. We'll look back at Ole Miss Miami. We will look ahead to Indiana, Oregon. Jessica Benson will join me in studio. Should be a fun show. Looking forward to it already. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to try to enjoy mine. We're going to meet back here tomorrow at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.